Howdy, y'all. My name is Price, and welcome back to some more Slime Rancher. We're back, y'all. Hey, it's actually been a few days for me. I took a little bit off on the weekend. I showed y'all some Coral Island. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that. I am going to be playing some more of that today. Took Monday off because I didn't want to force myself to work on a Sunday, and then this one's going out a little bit late today. And y'all already know that because you're seeing it late. But basically, I'm trying not to push myself too much to the burnout point. So it's like, well, if I need a couple extra hours, I'm going to take a couple extra hours. It'll get out eventually. And I know that's not great for consistency. I know a lot of y'all like to tune in at the specific time. But I think it'll be better in the long run, at least for me. Okay, so anyway, I'm just feeding our little critters over here. Let's go feed the anglers. But yeah, how's it going, y'all? It is, let's see, what is the date today? November 1st. It is the end of the spooky season for most people, not for me. I keep it going all year round. But I'm still going to be spooky. But speaking about the spooky stuff, Chrissy and I, what did we get up to? I don't know if I told y'all last week. Probably not, because I think I wouldn't have recorded an episode the day after. Chrissy and I went to a haunted house. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I talked about that. So that was fun. We haven't been in a long time since before, and it was a lot of fun. That kind of stuff is really enjoyable. I may have talked about this last time. I'm not sure. But I think it was on Thursday, and I don't think I made an episode on Friday. I think that's what my brain wants to say. But it's a lot of fun, and it kind of played into the rest of what I did for my weekend. Okay, Warp Tech, do we need any of these? We still have a couple of these to put down. Like, having market links would be nice. It's going to cost me some of my good stuff, but not all of it. I don't need it just at the moment. Because we're working on decorations, right? We're working on decorations. Now, we're not going to buy any decorations just yet. I'm going to go get some more resources, and then we'll decorate more. Also, by the way, it's first thing in the morning, so that's why I'm a little more subdued than normal. But hopefully that's all right. Boop, boop, boop. So let me think if well, let's go check on the other slimes, and then we're going to just go looking for resources to start with. And then today's episode, we're going to be hopefully doing more decorating, and I would like to deal with the mess over there of the chickens. They need to be defeated. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some kind of use of the ringtails, and just way too many. We're going to grab way too many. I'm going to grab like 50 pink slimes and 50 ringtail plorts, and we're going to make it work. Alright, y'all will eat anything, right? You trash pandas. There you go. There you go. Oh, these ones are cute. So yeah, anyway, we went to a haunted house. It was nice and fun. That kind of stuff. It's always silly. So for me, Chrissy and I, when we first started dating, I think maybe that first year or like the second year, we went to a haunted house. And it was Chrissy's first time ever. And it was, your traditional haunted house thing. You go in, jump scares, all that kind of good stuff. For me, I've gone to haunted houses since I was a kid. And the jump scary stuff, it doesn't really scare me. Like, legitimately, it's not me trying to be a big, bad, strong boy. It's just more of like, it's sad. Because I don't get to have as much of a scary experience. But this one had some stuff that actually had me like, oh, I don't like this. Because it wasn't just about jump scares. There were some where like you had to, like the hallways started to get smaller as you go through it. And so it's like you're having to like slide through these narrower and narrower passages, which, no thank you. I didn't like that. And then it had these rooms where like they had like the strobe lights going, so it's like really disorienting, and the rooms are like tilted on an edge, and you're having to like maneuver your way through it. And like there were moments where I legitimately could not see. I'm not saying like, oh, it was like I couldn't see. It was like, no, there were moments where I legitimately, my eyes were wide open, and yet nothing because of the brightness and everything. It was wild. It was wild. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's grab as many pink slimes as we can. Okay. And we're going to just try and make as many pink ringtails as possible. Doot. Which I know right now we have 2 different kinds of ringtails, right? So I should be able to... It shouldn't be that difficult to handle. The main reason I'm only grabbing pink slimes, I mean I could grab both, is just for the whole... what do you call it? Oh wow, there's actually tons of bunnies. Maybe we'll grab bunnies instead. It's basically so I was like, because they're going to be the most common. But I forget how common these cotton slimes are in this first area. So we'll grab them instead. Okay, and we know that we've seen them before. This is our like exterminator squad. We didn't get enough last time. But these are our invasive species. We're bringing them in to just absolutely destroy the local wildlife. Oh, it's messed up, but true. Okay. So, let's keep looking around also. I don't want to only be looking for the slimes. I want to also be making sure to look for the jellystone. Okay. So yeah, the haunted house was fun. We went to that with Chrissy and some of her coworkers. And so yeah, that was an enjoyable experience for spooky season. What else? Oh, so what I was saying about it feeding into the larger part of my weekend is I also went to a wrestling show. And you're like, Price, what do those 2 things have to do with each other? Well, they both have a certain level of charm and sort of a heritage in like carnivals and stuff. And so they have a similar feel often. And like there's just a certain level of like, I don't know, it's like there's a level of like intrigue of like, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just carnival stuff, you know? And there's something about it that has this like very unique feel to it, but wrestling and haunted houses, like they share that kind of heritage. So anyway, it was a lot of fun going to the haunted house. And then my brother and I went to a wrestling show, which I think I told you all about ahead of time last week that we were going, but now we've been. And it was awesome. It's one of those things where you don't know how much you miss doing it until you get to do it again. And you're like, oh my gosh, this was incredible. And, you know, we just, oh no, Tars, now get out of here. I don't even let it start. And so, you know, we used to go, you know, once every couple of months, I would say. There would be a show once every couple of months up in Seattle, this wrestling promotion called Defy that we really like. And it's great. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, I know, like, there's, like, a handful of you out there who watch my stuff. Defy really is, like, if you like AEW or any, like, the indie talents, anyone who's, like, allowed to go wrestle on the independents, they'll come through. So just to give an example to people out there, again, it's only if you're a wrestling fan that you'll understand. Everyone else, please indulge me. John Moxley showed up once because someone else needed a replacement. I've seen the Young Bucks. Sammy Guevara was there. Darby Allin comes from there. Swerve Scott, Shane Strickland comes from there. So lots of very, very big wrestlers at the moment all came through Defy, and I've seen them numerous times. Like, Darby Allin's a very famous wrestler right now. He's a very big guy in AEW, and I saw him probably like 4 or 5 times. I saw him wrestle like 4 or 5 times, and this was well before any of the AEW stuff. And then I was there when he like announced that he was going to AEW, and I'm trying to think who. I think it was actually, now that I'm thinking about it, again, I'm so sorry to those of you who aren't wrestling fans. Indulge me. I think it was that we saw the Young Bucks when Darby went to AEW, because I think they came in as like part of a a thing where like there were other guys beating up on Darby, and then I think the Young Bucks came to save him, basically. And then that's when they were like, hey, do you want to join All Elite, brother? You know? And that's how it goes, you know? That's how they do it. They always like to put on a little show, huh? So yeah. So that's what it's like, you know, going there. That's like the history of it. But this time Fletch and I went, and the coolest thing for us when we go is that sometimes they'll get people in who are like, well, we'll just say legends. And I don't mean like, oh, a WWE legend, but I mean people who have been wrestling for, you know, 30, 40 years, people that we saw when we were kids on TV. So the example of that we saw this weekend, well, there's two really, but one was Ultimo Dragon, which anybody who, I think the best way to explain who Ultimo Dragon is in terms of time span, he was the character that I played the most of in WCW versus NWO on the not on the Super Nintendo, on the N64. So that's a, oh, sorry, my alarm's going off. It's 10 o'clock. No, 9 o'clock. So just think about that for a second. Like, he was wrestling and was big enough to be put into a video game in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so he had already been wrestling for like a decade at that point. Anyway, super cool to get to see him in person. And guess what? This is the second time that Defy's had him over. So Fletch and I have gotten to see him twice. We also got to see this guy named Minoru Suzuki, who is one of the biggest wrestlers in the world. He's huge in Japan, but he also comes through the US and is like just this absolutely terrifying man. But just such a good performer. Just like the reason he's terrifying is because he's able to put on such an intimidating presence, and like he uses like subtle action to prove a point, right? So it's the kind of thing where like he doesn't make like an angry face and just point at you really fast like "Arr!" He does this kind of almost slow turn annoyed face and then does a slow point towards you, right? Which is even more intimidating, right? Because it's like he's so confident, he doesn't even have to really move to let you know that he's going to destroy you. So that was it was a lot of fun. We saw a lot of great stuff. Apparently, it was the first night that they were going to be on pay-per-view. Chrissy had told me going into it, she's like, "Oh, they're going to be on TV," and I was like, "Well, they're always on TV. That's not that weird because they've always had a deal with Pluto, I think, so you could watch them on there." But no, apparently this was the first time they were on like TV through Fight TV on pay-per-view. So, you know, this is like the biggest one of their shows ever in terms of viewership. And so they really pulled out the stops. They brought in some pretty cool stuff. The biggest ones being for us local fans, for the people who've been watching for a while, they brought back our champion, Randy Myers, who he's been stuck in Vancouver in British Columbia, for the past 3 years, something like that. Basically, once, you know, the bad stuff started to happen in the world. Is this a ringtail plort? Yeah. Once the bad stuff started to happen, and it became harder to cross borders, all the wrestlers from over there in Canada, who usually come through and wrestle, which is a lot of them. Like a lot of wrestlers come through from British Columbia. There's this sort of Pacific Northwest scene from basically up in British Columbia down through Northern California. And so there's a ton of great wrestlers that come from there. Like I'm legitimately tons of great wrestlers. So when all that stuff closed up, we kind of took a hit in terms of our roster here because they couldn't come through. Well, apparently they got all that stuff cleared up for this show because Randy came through, who was our current champion, who's been out for 3 years. So there's an interim champion right now. Oh man, these hens. All right, we're gonna launch this guy. Now, I forget, did we clean up all the plorts or are we just gonna deal with, no, they're pink though, so pink's fine. And hunters hunters are going to be the problems. Just going to try and do a quick little view because I don't want the tar stuff to happen. I would just prefer if it didn't. Hey, I'm looking for plorts in a hand stack. This ain't easy. Because these plorts are like the same color as these guys. Okay. Well. Just want to do this for fun. Boing boing! Boing! That's so great. Okay. I am going to release these guys. I know that it's not... Oh, actually, no, pink's not okay. Now that I think about it. I thought I was doing pink before, but I'm not. I'm doing rabbits. They're not going to do anything just yet, and I may go and do the thing that I said where I grab a whole bunch of, like, the jump pads and stuff. But for now, nothing will happen because these guys are going to immediately turn into stone. But they will be ready. So, we're gonna... Boop. Boop. Come on. Please eat these. Why are they not... Okay. Thank you. At least they're eating a handful before going off and doing that. We're gonna do this. We're just gonna fire a bunch of them over there. Yeah, I had a feeling that that's kind of how it's going to work. That's why I got more. Wow, a whole bunch of them just launched. Okay. Oh, you know what I could do? Now that I think about it. I'll get as many of them to grow, but if one of them doesn't and just sort of wanders around, I may be able to let them go and find... the other plorts. You know what I mean? Like, let the rabbits loose while these ones are stone. And maybe they'll find the other plorts, because slimes are attracted to plorts. That's why tars are such a pain. Oh man, I'm stuck amongst the stony slimes. Okay. Okay, so what was I saying? Our current champion, who's been out of the country, came back. They also had one of our former champions, the champion before Randy, a guy named Artemis Spencer, who also fantastic wrestler. Really cool high-flying stuff that guy can do. I've seen him do some of the kinds of stuff where you're scared that they're going to hit the ceiling and everything because they can jump so high. But yeah, they brought him back, and they brought... our very first champion, Davey Richards, who I had actually never seen because I came starting like the second year, I think, or like a little bit before, you know, a little bit after they had started, because I missed the first few. The one that I missed that I'm sad that I missed from early on, there's a couple. Because they had Leo Rush come through, I think the very first one. It was either the first or the second one. And then Cody Rhodes came through, one of the first ones. And I would have loved to have seen that. Okay. I think that'll be it for me talking wrestling, y'all. Thank you, everyone, for indulging me. Let's go ahead. Let's focus on getting more resources. Because... which one's the one we need the most? Primordial oil. Let's go find some primordial oil. Because when I come back, I want to be able to do a lot of decorating. I don't want to have to do the whole, you know, back and forth, doing it twice. Let's just try and do it only once this episode. If we can. Yeah, no, again, no big deal. But y'all, hoping y'all are having a good time out there. Hoping you have a good day. Like I said, been a bit since I played me some Slime Rancher. I'm trying to think, what did we play this weekend on stream? I know we played the new Plate Up. There was new Plate Up stuff. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna try and record some for myself here, maybe today, because I would like to get some of that out for y'all. Because they just did the Halloween update, and also I think a later update in the series, like in the game. Like there's new stuff with conveyor belts and all kinds of things. Uh-oh. Hey, Get out of here. Didn't I put the bell down there, or the thing down there for you? Go mess with that chicken. Go mess with that chicken. Okay. I don't think there's ever any over there. There's got to be some places that I'm missing in my search for primordial oil, though. There's got to be some better spots. I would love, honestly, you know what I would love? I would love, like in the first game, how there were the extraction machines. I would love something like that you could get that would like slowly generate a resource over time. Because that way then you could generate like larger amounts, because it does feel like we're very much restricted by the speed at which these things regenerate. To the point I was actually going to mention, I am thinking of like today, after I finish the recordings and things that I need to do today, I may spend my sort of work hours playing this file and just running back and forth getting resources. I think I might do that because I'll feel a little more... Well, basically I'll just be able to grind it out, and I'll be able to, like, you know, play my podcasts and stuff and just sort of zone out while I do it, sort of grind through it. So then next time, I would love it if we could focus just 100% on like decorations and kind of planning stuff, Gordo stuff. I'd love that. I just yesterday actually went back through my Glass Desert series, the first 20 episodes, the chapter 1, season 1 Tarmageddon. I went and rewatched all that stuff. Scrubbed through, because it's a very long one, but I scrubbed through for all the story moments. And I still am very proud of that. Still am very proud. I think I did a great job. And B, you know, it's giving me some ideas. It's making me want to get some Gordos out there. So yeah, that's what I want to do. And we still haven't gotten the Master Gordo snare from Thora. So we're going to have to be doing it with the basics. So we may talk about where we want to put some today. And then I may also work on trying to get those specific Gordos down for next time. That may be what I do. So here's the other thing is, like, now going forward, I know we had said Slime Rancher Daily. And I think we did 30 some days in a row where I missed like maybe one and put out something else. Stardew Valley, that's right. But now we're at the point where it's like, okay, because we're on the same file and because it's going to take me a lot of time to gather the resources to do the things that we're going to do, it may be like every other day for Slime Rancher and then something else before it. We're getting a little bit more variety back on the channel. But basically, you know, regardless, whatever comes out at this time of the day is going to be podcasty. Well, I guess this video went out late probably, but the normal time, it's going to be more on the podcasty side. Weekends, I'll do maybe other stuff, but at the end of the day, the way I game, it's always podcasty. So if you like watching this, don't worry, the other stuff will still pretty much be the same. It'll just be a different game. So yeah, that's just kind of something I wanted to share and to mention. I think something I do a lot that I think gets in the way of my success is I set parameters for myself. Hey, another one. Lucky cat. Woohoo! Look at you go. Love it. Any other ones over here? Come with me. So you don't pop like the gold one. Love those guys. Okay. So I set parameters for myself, and then when I can't follow through, I get upset with myself, and then that puts me into a spiral that sends me ultimately towards burnout. So instead, I'm just going to try and be flexible, you know? We were doing Daily Slime Rancher for 30 some odd episodes, and now we're going to be doing Daily Price with some Slime Rancher taking up a significant portion of that. So yeah, and because the other thing, you know, going back and watching that stuff, it's I love it. I'm so proud of it and everything. But then also watching it, like I immediately started to like feel the way I felt back then. And I was like, oh gosh, this is bringing up real bad memories. Because like I said, you know, I was making it during a time that was pretty rough for me. So I know that there was also a lot of burnout that came up, you know, much because of that series and because of how I treated it, which was I was forcing myself to try and do it every day. I think for a while there, I think that whole series came out across the period of like maybe a couple of weeks. And it was because I was forcing myself to do so much, but because I was loving it and because it was distracting me from some very serious issues that I was going through. You know, it was stuff that's outside of my control, stuff, you know, family stuff, death, all that kind of stuff. You know, the things that like we all have to deal with at some point, and there's no easy way of there's no easy way of dealing with it, and a lot of us don't deal with it in a healthy way. That was my unhealthy way, was focusing on my work and not focusing on my emotions. And so that kind of came through for me when I rewatched it. So anyway, I want to create more work like that. I was watching it and, you know, I like walked away from it and I was sort of like looked at myself and was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to make more of this stuff because it's exactly my kind of, you know, I talk a lot about collaborative storytelling, and in that way, the collaboration is between me and the game. The game I allow to make a ton of decisions for me. Sort of like a dungeon master, right? I'm walking through this world and I have random encounters and all that. And then I sort of just ascribe a story to it, is the way I saw that series going. And then suddenly the story took, you know, a shape of its own. And so I want to do that. I want to do more of that. Not just with Slime Rancher, but with other games. And so that's what I'm working towards. Doesn't mean there won't be normal content like this, but I want to sprinkle in more of that. I want to get back to what I would say are my roots here on YouTube, which are making sort of narrative-driven content. I'm going to drink some water while I talk here. You know, early on in Stumpt, we did this, and we haven't done it for a while, but I always liked when we would do story stuff, you know, when we would do Minecraft and have the story that went through that of the Alabaster Brothers, or when we had us, like when Jazzy and I were doing Stumptlandia and Rick and Ash were doing, what was that game called? The Stardew, but in space. Anyway, they were playing that. And then our series converged together, right? We had us like, they went up in a rocket in their game and they ended up in our game, right? And then we all went in another way and we ended up in a different game. I loved that. I loved that. And I want to do more of that. I think that we stopped doing it because it's hard. All right, we need to get the baddie guy. It takes a lot of work. Building stuff in Minecraft took so much work. We started working on like the big grand finale of that series. It was going to be like 2 more seasons or something of Minecraft, and we spent a long time building things that we never ended up using because of just we burnt ourselves out. Again, I think that the greatest threat to any content creator is burnout. We don't have limits. We set our own time. We are passionate about what we produce. Unlike oftentimes if you work at like a job where it's a creative industry thing, you know, you're still 9 to 5 in it, you know? You may love what you do, but you're still 9 to 5 in it. You have boundaries between yourself and what you make. Content creators, I'd say much like, you know, much like the starving artists of old, focus too much on our creations, likely, and not on ourselves. So the burnout comes fast, I think. And so that's where like finding that balance, you know, the mythical work-life balance, is so crucial, because otherwise you're gonna crash and burn. And I can say this from experience because I think I've crashed and burned at least 4 or 5 times in my YouTube career. Not so much to ruin my career, but certainly to give me setbacks, you know? You know, there's something, I'll just go ahead and say this because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that it's sort of just a thing about YouTube that people don't talk about, but is the thing, right? So like, if you look at the number of subscribers I have, it's like, what, 60,000? Something like that. But, you know, views-wise, I don't get anywhere near that many views on my videos. And a lot of times, you know, this is a sign. It's like, oh, this is not good for your YouTube. And, you know, that's true very much to an extent. Like, that's not good for the algorithm and whatnot. And I think, you know, every YouTuber goes through their peaks and valleys. And when I was making that other series, that was certainly my peak on my solo channel. But the other thing is that, like, it's easy to see those numbers and get discouraged. That's the bigger part. Like, whatever about if enough people are watching your stuff or not, whatever, you know. Honestly, for me, at the end of the day, like, I'm surviving and I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. And so I want to maintain that passion, which means I got to maintain and create boundaries. And so yeah, I'm trying to be more forgiving of myself and being more flexible with this stuff, because I think it's going to help me in the long run to be able to keep doing it. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I want to work on those projects and have been. So, you know, I've already told you all about the 5 nights video I'm working on. There's some other stuff I'm working on. You know, we're working on getting these Gordos and whatnot going. And I'm just, you know, kind of coming up with ideas of things we can do. And I'd love to hear, like, what other games would you like to see me play as part of this larger thing? Because there's some parameters that I would need to meet. So we'll talk about that in a second. Also, I do plan on continuing to stream Coral Island, at least for a little while. I think it's a ton of fun. It's not the kind of game that I could do a narrative with because it's got such a strong narrative of its own. But I do want to keep playing it. Y'all seem to enjoy it, and at least for, you know, a little while, we'll keep checking it out. It's still like an early access, so, you know, we don't necessarily need to worry about playing it all the way through. We'll just play it for a couple of weeks until we feel like we've gotten our fill, and then we'll come back to it once the full release comes out, is, I think, the plan there. But y'all can help me out with this idea that I'm trying to build here in wanting to go back to having sort of these, like, narrative type experiences. In that, you know, the kinds of games that really work for it, you know, Slime Ranch is a good one. It has a story, but it's in the background. Mostly this is just you running out and exploring stuff and seeing things happen, right? It all just happens around you. There's no set narrative. So for me, this is the sort of prototype for the kind of game that you want to be able to, like, create a story within. Minecraft, obviously. I think Minecraft is like just a crucial part of it. Minecraft is the glue that binds the other games together, to be honest. Because you get a Minecraft game, you get a Minecraft mod pack, and you just kind of fit the things together, right? But if there are any of these types of games that y'all can think of, these sort of, I guess, like survival-y type games or just like single-player experience type games, you know, I do think, like, you know, Subnautica, I've never played. That's a game that's kind of in this vein. Yeah, Minecraft. Gosh, what else have I done in the past? See, the thing is, like, but I also made it work. We as a group made it work with other games. Like Nom Nom Galaxy was one that we snuck in there, which was really more of like a kind of arcadey type thing. But I guess ultimately they're all going to be sort of open worldy, survival-y type games. But essentially ones where, like, you go to a place and you can come up with a reason to have left that place, and it allows you to move through stories, essentially. So I'm just curious if y'all have any ideas for games like that. Because I probably wouldn't play them right away, but maybe they'd show up at some point if they really fit a part of this potential narrative I'm going to tell. Again, I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but it's more because I want, again, like, I've already broken the dam on this series of letting y'all in behind the pre-production curtain. So I figure, why not pick your brains some more, you know? Oh boy. Sorry, it's first thing in the morning, so my voice is still a little froggy. Okay, let's get you going. Okay, and you. All right. look for some more. Oh, again, like y'all are just everywhere. I find one of you every dang day. Bye. Okay, we've probably gotten all of the Jellystone, is my guess. I think we have more Buzzwax than anything. If not, I can go teleport out and get some real quick. But it's the Primordial Oil that's the true limiting factor is the thing. So, oh, that was a goof. I bumped it with my mouse pad. Okay, where are we at with our stuff? Do we have a message? No message. 46, 44, 42. Well, they're all in the 40s, so cool. What would we like to do? So utilities-wise, these guys cost 10, 10, and 10, so I can make 4 of those. Then we got all the cypress trees, right? So we got 2 of these ones, I guess. Let's build a couple of these. What else could we sneak in somewhere? We got all the different flowers. There's just so many potential ideas here. Oh, why do these guys have to cost 20 of everything? So spandy. Well, we're gonna make 1 of each of these. And what else do we want to sneak in? That's the thing is that like there's so many good choices here. It's like there's no real wrong answers, y'all. Let's make one of those little clumps. Alright, we're out of Primordial Oil. Only got Buzzwax now, basically. We can get some rock fragments, I guess. Because that's the other part, is it's mostly like trying to figure out like what can we actually use somewhere. Let's buy those. Let's buy those. Alright, I think we've gone through our basics again. Yep. Okay. So, well, let's go put down some of this stuff. Once again, did not use my stuff for Gordos, but that's fine. Alright, so this is where I wanted flowers. I know that. Ochre poppies, cute. And I made some blue ones too, didn't I? Just now? Did I not? Did I only make 2 of these? Is that what I did? I must have goofed somehow. Could have sworn I got those blue flowers. Oh well, it's fine. Clearly I do not have them. Let's throw them down there. Because we like having our little flowers up front over here. We talked about. We've got the stone slime guys. So like they could be really cute along here. I've also talked about that could be a good Council of Gordos at some point. Wouldn't it be interesting if you just put stone slimes on every single spot? Here we go. I just want to see. Okay. They're not huge. Okay, cool. So then what I think is like, you know, I made this sort of like little mini shrubbery zone, right? And I think one of these guys fits really well amongst a place like this. Maybe even like right here. We'll put this one here. He's in like a little glade. Cute. Cute. Just lying amongst the trees. Okay. What's here? Nothing? Well, I do kind of like the idea of just continuing to forest this area up. Ooh, that's a big one! That's one of these ones. Alright, hold on. I did not realize how big the big was gonna be. We're gonna change things up here. Doing some set dressing, y'all. No, wrong one. Dude. Cute. And he's even got the little lights over him. Alright, I like that. It's like he's like, ah, resting in the light of that. Adorable. Adorable. Okay. A lot of this is going to the other side. Yeah. But, you know, I'll throw some of that. Oh, is that the rocks? No, I thought I did the grass. I'll do the bluegrass. Oh, it even gets like those little bitty flowers in there. That's cool. Put some of this around here. Because it's something you can... Oh! I don't know how I do that every time. I swear I was clicked on this one. So here I'm doing this because it's stuff that you walk through, you know? But you can still have, like, stuff. We may change one of these. Having too much of the same thing next to each other is a little... It becomes apparent. Okay, let's head over to this side over here. Oh, I didn't even go check at nighttime what happened out here. Let's sleep until night. Slimes are probably mad. I guess we'll wait until the sun's actually down so I can feed them real quick. I do need to deal with their plorts. Okay. But we'll deal with that when we deal with that. So yeah, we're trying to think of Gordos to put where, you know, going back and watching my old series, you know, and seeing just like, it's so funny to watch and see like how we arrived at the characters because they actually all kind of like started out different and then sort of became what they were through the series. And that's the thing, it's like I love games where I can like come up with characters in it, and I think that that's probably why Slime Rancher works so well for it, is that like there's all these adorable characters that have, you know, a blank personality for you to fill, which I think is really neat. And I think with like Minecraft mods, you can do that pretty well. We did that pretty well for some of our series. So anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm thinking about Minecraft. I'm thinking about other games like this. And I'd love to hear y'all's suggestions. And speaking of Minecraft mods, if any of y'all know of any mods that are pretty neat, I haven't... Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. Was he hiding? He must have still been there from before. All right, here we go. The Waltz of the Midnight Bunnies, Part 2. Here it goes. I just have to make sure, like, I have to look for tars. So we're gonna just watch this for a second. No, they come towards me. That's the problem. Y'all jumping up towards me? It's so ridiculous. These guys were in the thumbnail of my last video, otherwise I would have them in the thumbnail of this one. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, I did these guys. By the way, I've been having fun doing that too, just drawing the pictures for the thumbnails. It's been good practice for me, just doing it. It's a little bit of something to do in the morning. It takes me like, you know, probably like an hour or so to do, which I'll get faster at it. I'm still relearning some Photoshop stuff. I upgraded to the newer Photoshop version recently. I try my best to never update anything. Once I learn how something works, I'm like, I just want to keep using it this way. Why do I need to learn a new way? I know. I'm an old man. But I think it also has more to do with like early on in our YouTube careers, we had some pretty bad experiences with like software ruining everything. So I think it's more like I've been traumatized by updating things. I'm always like, well, it's going to ruin all my stuff, so I better make sure everything's done. But anyway, so I've been learning the new Photoshop and learning a lot from it. Okay, now I got to fly back over. Just kind of trying to attract them back and forth. So I've been enjoying doing those drawings. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, just our little getting to see all the different slimes every day as we do this. So I gotta think of which slime though I'm gonna put in that thumbnail for today. But it's all been good for me. It's all been a good routine, essentially, which is nice. It's very good. Routine is good for everybody. Like, you don't want your entire life to be routine, that it becomes boring because your whole life becomes automatic. But routine can kind of get you going in the right direction, and get you in the right mindset, get you in the right space. In previous episodes, we talked about state-dependent memory, I know. We talked about, which is basically like when you're in a certain place or behavior pattern, or, you know, like if you're in a certain mood, you behave and think in different ways. And so the routine helps you get like onto a track, right? Once you have your routine set up, it's like, okay, now I can get on the track to get the things done that I have to get done every day, right? The things that don't really take you thinking about it, but you know you got to do it every day. So all this stuff has been helping me a lot with that. I mean, they're doing a good job. Let's be honest. They're doing a pretty good job tearing through this. I'm pretty impressed. But they do need to get, like, every single one of them. Because the little chickadoos are going to turn into big ones. And, you know, the sun is going to come up at some point, and I don't know if these guys are going to be done. Oh, there's a ton of these guys over in this corner. You, come to me. Yeah, I really do have to, like, lure them. Because they certainly follow me. Look at that pile of slimes. Chomp, chomp, chomp. My goodness. I mean, we're just going to sit here for a little bit and just enjoy this, because I think it's hilarious. We're going to put... You know what? That's what this is. This whole place is going to be stone slimes. It's going to take a lot of effort to get that done. But this whole place is going to be stone slimes. He's looking out that way. And there can be another one across there that looks out this way. And then up here, we'll put the one who's very happy, just overlooking all of this. All right, did y'all devour all of those? Come this way. Devour the hens. Do. Just need to, like, start picking up all these plorts. And like I said, I need to try and get all the chicks. As soon as all the bigger ones are gone, I can run around and get all the chicks. I don't think that'll happen in one evening. And then all the other ones are going to grow, and then they'll have more, and then they'll grow, and then they'll have more. So it's like you really do have to, like, get ahead on this stuff. So I'm really going to try and go around and get as many of these chicks as I can. And then, you know, the slimes will just follow me around. Because legitimately, if 2 chicks are left, and one turns into a roostro, and one turns into a hen, we're going to have this same problem all over again. So we will be leaving these slimes here for quite some time, just to be sure, you know? Just to be sure. Okay. Because at least we can slow the pace. You know what? Let's see if I can trick shot it again. With the chick. Oh, it's gonna be so hard with these guys in the way. Okay, not a chance. Let's do it another time. There's one of y'all who hasn't... I'm impressed, bud. Where you at? Huh. Okay. Goodbye, Briars. Like, if I can launch them, I will. I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that for all of them because of how many there were. Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, the ringtails, their ability serves quite the purpose. They really are the invasive species of Slime Rancher. For those of y'all who don't know what an invasive species is, when a species from like a different part of the world is brought somewhere that doesn't have that species or really anything that kind of takes that place, maybe that species ends up being more adapted to that environment than the ones that were previously there. And they can be so adapted to it that they actually heavily disrupt the local ecosystems. So, for example, rats are a big one. Rats came over to many places on boats long ago, and would get, into get off the boats, and then suddenly they would infest, massive regions of an area. I think one of the big ones was in Australia, I think, where there was a whole bunch of, like a huge, like swarms, from what I understand, just massive, horrifying. And the idea then was, oh, how do we deal with this? Well, let's bring in one of their natural predators, these frogs. So they brought in these frogs. Maybe they were toads, I'm not sure. And lo and behold, those things went and got out of control and started destroying the ecosystem. So, like, think of it this way. If these rats come in and eat up all the food, then the animals that normally would eat that food aren't going to get that food, so then those animals are going to die. So when invasive species come in, they eat up all the food, so then none of the other animals can get the food, right? So that's these guys. These guys are the invasive bunny boys. I think this is going to be one of our iconic Gordos. Or not Gordos, but our iconic Largos here, y'all. These are important characters. That was another thing that, going back and watching my old series, that I didn't remember how important and how crucial to the story Thomas, Doug, and Yancey were. Which are characters that we created of Largos that were just these sort of cute Largos that we had. Anyway, I'm talking about this series a lot. I know not all y'all watched it. Some of y'all might go back and watch it. But I am planning on doing something to give people a refresher on it, because I think that would be good. Man, have we done it? It feels like we've done a pretty dang good number. I think, yeah, I need to bring some of y'all up this way, because there are some out here. Because then maybe I do finally get rid of these coops as well. Let's go ahead and do it. Demolish the plot. All right. Let these bunnies flow. All right. There we go. Now, sun's going to be up soonish. The sky's getting purple. So I might have to end a lot of these on my own. Let's get a couple of y'all up here. Yeah, over here. Yep. And then whatever's left, I'll be able to deal with, I think. But I'm gonna have to deal with it. Did you see that guy running? Shoot! Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to do some kind of a refresher type thing. That's why I was watching it, rewatching it, was because I'm kind of like figuring out what are the important bits, what are things that people would need to know. Just because, if anything that I go forward doing contains any of that stuff, I want to make sure that people know what it is. And just so people get an idea of what I'm going to be doing. Oh, the slowdown is reducing, y'all. Yeah, I'm just pushing y'all off into the sea, okay? Come on, hens. There you go. Man, I always forget that there's, like, resources around here. I should go grab that jellystone that's always here. Oh, I guess not always. Man, they did a great job, but they did not get everything. And now they're all transforming. Okay. Well, we'll send all y'all off into the sea. Because at least we made a nice big dent on here. So, I guess in the second here, we'll head on over and we will also decorate the other area a little bit more. But yeah, so I guess that's, you know, kind of the main thing that I've been thinking about lately is wanting to do more narrative-focused stuff, really like flex my creative muscles. I've learned more and more over the years, you know, I was talking to my brother on the way up to Seattle when we were going to the wrestling show, that like, I like doing creative stuff. Like legitimately, I'm not the person who wants to be in front of the camera, which might seem weird, I don't know, with, you know, how I present myself and whatnot. I'm not uncomfortable with it. So that's, I think that like the difference is like, it's not that I want to be that person, but it's that I don't have a problem with it. So I'm cool being the camera facing person and being on camera, talking to y'all and having all that fun time. I enjoy that. But it's not really what I want to do. Like it's not what gives me purpose, I guess. I enjoy it, but it's not what gives me purpose. But being creative is what gives me purpose, and always has. I've always been an artist from a very young age, and it's always been incredibly important to me. It's always been a key factor of my identity, actually, ever since I was a child. Before I can even remember, I was drawing. I know this because of the drawings that my grandparents and parents would show me, being like, oh, you drew this of your grandpa when you were 3. Because we're that kind of family. My grandmother would frame all the work that we did and put it up on the walls and stuff. So I grew up loving drawing and you know, being creative. I've told y'all before about my friend Chad and I, how we grew up making like movies, right? Coming up with our own stories and filming movies. And yeah, for me, it's always been in the creative aspect that I find my enjoyment. So I'm trying to capture that here with these story ideas that I've been talking about. So when I go back and I rewatch that old one and I say I'm super proud of it, I think it's because it is a creative expression of mine. It's not just me going out on the internet being a silly guy. I think there are people in our business who love this and who like are built for it, that have like a certain personality. For me, I do enjoy it, but I get burnt out because it's not entirely fulfilling, I guess. And I don't want y'all to feel bad. I want to be clear. I'm not like complaining about my job. I'm not anything like that. I love what I do. I love that I'm allowed to do what I do. But we all have aspects of our jobs that we love and other aspects that we like less. And I think that for me, it's harder for me to do this day-to-day thing and be confident that what I'm doing is of quality, rather than if I'm creating something and I'm wondering, is it quality? Because when it's creatively focused and generated, then it's a little more like, okay, I have this control and I have this world and I have this vision. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I think y'all get what I mean. The creative stuff I'm more fulfilled by, and now that I've reflected on myself more over the past few years, now that I've really started to get into a more comfortable and like consistent space, you know, life is getting a little bit back to normal in many ways, or getting into, I guess, a new normal, a rhythm over the past few years. And so I think that all that really has helped me to be able to like think about this stuff and pursue it. So anyway, you know, don't be shocked if I get a bunch of random creative projects going on here. You know, there's also this, this is just a vision into the mind of Price, isn't it? There's also this issue when you come up with something new of thinking about it from like a views standpoint, or like is this something I'm going to make a series out of? How frequently am I going to have to do it? What are the new episodes going to have to be? How much do I have to plan, right? And so it's like you can have a great idea and then stop yourself before even exploring it by overthinking it. And so I'm going to try my best to be like, look, I'm going to make a thing and I may never make another thing like this again. It may not be a series, even if people want more of it. It may not do that, you know, whatever. I'm going to try and treat it a lot more, you know, fluidly, I guess, you know? I'll go with it. We'll see what happens. Okay, really trying to get rid of all these hens here. We're already past our hour, so maybe we'll start next episode doing some decorating. Like I said before, I'm going to probably in between some of these episodes do some running around just gathering resources. That will likely not happen before the next episode, because I'll probably record that one close to right after this. Like, I think I stream in not too long, and after that, I will probably record the next episode. So we'll see, because on stream we're going to be playing some Coral Island for sure. Okay. But I just really want to get rid of these hens. Like, it's just, it feels like something that must be done. Okay. There's still some around. There's 100% still some around. Okay. But, okay, we'll call it here for now. I want to arrange these guys somewhere. Problem is, I know that by the time I do it, they're gonna be awake again. I hear some hens. Don't you dare. Like, wouldn't it be fun? Maybe we'll do it another time. I'll leave these guys loose here for a while. So we'll leave a couple hens around, you know? Enough. There's not even a roostro, so. Anyway. We'll see what happens. These guys did a great job. There are probably a handful of, like I saw a little baby hen. There's a couple of them running around chickadees. So we'll see. But I think we've got a good pest control system here. And the slowdown seems to have stopped, which is quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll just sell these ones. We got so many of every kind of plort. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll end this one there, y'all. Like I said, this one went out a little bit late today, obviously. Right now I'm looking at the clock and it's 10 o'clock when this should have gone out. But again, trying to take things a little more laid back, trying to do it in a way that's not going to burn me out, but is instead going to allow me to feel like, hey, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do a thing. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a little more flexible when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I want to just do that instead of trying to force myself to be like, you know, what the algorithm wants the most, which is, I guess, like, doing the same exact thing every single day without inconsistency. It really is what the algorithm's built for. It's like, if you come up with an idea for a show where every episode of your show is an iteration of the same thing, then you're built for YouTube. You're built for YouTube. It's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of work. Gaming type stuff can be difficult, and when you're someone like me with mental health issues that I kind of go up and down, and I have like feast and famine and stuff like that, it's just not built for it. So I kind of put myself in a hole all the time. But I'm doing well enough. I'm doing well enough. Let's see what Mochi and Thor have to say, and then we'll bounce out of here. She got me a little something. Emphasis on the little. Some more root arches. She loves them roots. We work out here, so we sent me a care package, and we got some grass. Cool. More stuff to decorate with, which we will use next time. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed good old Slime Rancher. Let me know down below those ideas you have for games that kind of fall into the range of sort of survival-y, open world-y. Doesn't have to be fully open world. But, like, you know, spaces where we can build our stories that don't already have, like, such an overarching story that you can't get past it, right? So, like, Coral Island. Couldn't do it because there's so much narrative amongst those characters that I just don't think I could lift it off of that, right? Stardew, kind of in the same vein. You could maybe do it with Stardew, but you got to avoid people and stuff, right? Because as soon as you get wrapped up in, like, the nature of the game, it can be a little tricky. Those games could work. They do have enough customization. I guess that's the other thing, is there needs to be customization. I need to be able to build in it, right? The more I can, like, affect the world, the better it is for it. So, like, Minecraft is a perfect example. Anyway, let me know your ideas about that down below. I would love that. If you could, leave a like on the video, comment down below. It really helps a whole bunch. Maybe comment, the Midnight Bunnies invade once again. The Midnight Bunnies invade once again. Just like that. Just like that. You gotta say it with the voice when you type it. Type it and then say it out loud. Once again! Like that. Like an old 1940s radio. But, I'm so ridiculous. Subscribe if you're not already. But most importantly, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I've been Price, and I will see y'all next time.